You guys all requested it. So here it is. Let's get into it. This story happened when I was in high school. I went to a smallish high school, around 950 students ranging from the 9th to 12th grade. With so many students in one place, I had quite a few good friends that I talked to, but only a handful that I hung out with and talked with on a daily basis. Now there was a certain person in our social group, let's call him Bailey. Bailey was a social outcast by many people's standards, not by bullying or hazing or mistreatment from the other students. It's just that no one really liked him because he was an asshole all the time. He was always playing the victim when he was rejected by girls. He threatened to ruin the lives of said girls who did reject him. He harassed girls online and touched them in uncomfortable places in person after being told to stop, such as stomach, lower back, or neck. He begged for money off of people. He was a sexist and racist person to all races and ethnicities. He put himself into other people's conversations and generally wasn't a very nice person to hang around with. I have a really good friend. Let's call her A. A has been my best friend ever since I can remember, and she's a wonderful, sweet, and generous person to everyone. One day before we got out for winter break, A came up to me in the hallway before the end of school, bawling her eyes out. I asked her to tell me what was wrong, and she said that Bailey had asked her out before she went to class over text, but when she declined after explaining that she already had a boyfriend, all hell broke loose. He called her an N-word slut. He said she should kill herself because of how fat she was. He said no one loved her because she was a mixture of the two worst races, and said that no one would want her because she's a C-word, and said she has a stinky woohoo area. A had some insecurities about herself, and Bailey hit every single one of them point blank. I was seething with rage while reading her text, and I was completely appalled and disgusted at his behavior. I told her to dry her eyes and send me screenshots of the conversation he had with her. When she asked me what I was going to do with them, I simply told her that I had had enough of him harassing girls and I was going to do something about it. Now, I was not going to confront him directly, not with how angry I was at the moment. Instead, I decided to rally the troops and get ready for the bloodbath. I was going to massacre what was left of his entire high school career, his entire life. Now, Bailey had done this to girls before, and luckily I had those girls' numbers saved in my phone because they're my friends and we would send each other memes. So I made a group chat and asked everyone to send any type of rude, racist, sexist, or failed attempts to be asked out screenshot over any type of social media that Bailey had sent to them. Over the next 15 minutes, my phone was blaring with text notifications. There were screenshots of Snapchat stories, Facebook comments, text messages. All in all, I had around 60 photos of sexist, racist, failed DPs or asshole comments or rants that he made to 15 females, including myself. Over winter break, I composed all of those screenshots in a nice little PowerPoint and saved it in my flash drive on my laptop. I spoke with our principal and I asked him if I could show him something relevant to the safety of the student body during his free break at lunch. He told me that he had no problem with it and a time was set. When it finally comes down for the meeting with the principal, I have a small parade of girls behind me who want to come testify, anxiously holding onto each other's hands. We were invited into the principal's private conference room as he sets up his laptop and plugs my flash drive in to connect it into the projector. The principal called in some teachers to be witnesses and called Bailey down to the conference room to take a seat and try to defend himself if the allegations weren't true. The principal clicks the remote to play my presentation and it slowly begins to load up. The first slide comes up and the room goes deathly silent besides a few gasps of shock. As the slide continues on, I notice Bailey is squirming around in his seat, uncomfortable, and the people in the room are getting more agitated and angry. Halfway through the slides, Bailey jumps to his feet and throws his arm in front of the projector screen to censor out a particular image that he had sent to a girl, even though she had blurted out, a dick pic. He tried to explain that he was joking with the comments about race and being a guy or girl and that these girls were framing him for something he didn't do. He pointed to me and said that I was the ringleader of this operation and that I should be the one who's being thrown on the spot, not him. The entire room was tense and the principal turned on the lights with his hands on his hips and a giant sigh. The principal turns to me and tells me thank you for bringing this to his attention and asked if he could take the flash drive and use it for the investigations and alleged rumors that were going on about Bailey. I gave it to him and he thanked me again before he left with Bailey and the other teachers in tow. Since I copied the original slideshow to my cat flash drive, I sent the PowerPoint to not only mutual friends at the school, but also to his mom and dad through Facebook. All of them were not only absolutely disgusted by his comments, but his family was extremely distraught but thankful I brought this up to their attention. A few days later, the entire school was summoned to the gym for an announcement. Bailey was there with his parents on either side of him and his frail grandmother on the small stage we have set up for concerts and band productions. The slideshow is playing on repeat on a projector in the background for everyone to see. The principal said a few words about how harassment in any shape, form, or fashion would not be tolerated, and neither would sexism or any form of racist behavior or comments. The principal made Bailey apologize publicly to the school about his behavior and how he would never do it again. His parents were embarrassed, but they also apologized to the school and to the young ladies that he had harassed. His grandmother did not let him off so easily. She slapped his knee with her cane hard and started yelling at him for being so disgusting and such a disappointment to her. Jeez, I can relate to that. And to the rest of the family. Bailey started to cry on the stage as his mother and father tried to calm down his grandmother. Once everything calmed down, they were escorted off the property. He was suspended for the rest of the year for verbal harassment and racist comments. Later on in the same year, I found out that he had tried to rob a grocery store and was now facing trial for battery, assault with a deadly weapon, and armed robbery. My friends and I all graduated happily, and I never saw Bailey again. Wow, he got what he deserved. My God, that is crazy. That is crazy. That's got to be one of the worst punishments that could have been possible. Sometimes everyone just being disappointed at you is worse than being screamed at. The dude got what he deserved. That's why it's called nuclear revenge. Nuclear revenge is kind of like pro-revenge, except even to a higher extent. It's like leveled. Petty revenge, pro-revenge, nuclear revenge. You know, stacked up. And nuclear revenge is boom. And as you can see, that guy got destroyed. Literally. So, there was this really annoying asshat at my school who was generally just a dick. One day, he makes a joke about having a gun. I know he's joking. I go tell our school's cop. They make me talk to a detective and he gets his locker searched. And he's expelled. He should have said, I got guns, and flexed his arms. That wasn't funny, was it? No, I'm sorry. Jeez, don't we all love short stories? He definitely got what he deserved. That dude just straight up told the cop. He didn't even care. Some backstory. About 2 years ago, I gave my car to my nephew. It was a 1968 Camaro. It was a really great car. I rebuilt the engine and transmission. I got rid of all the rust, painted the car, and put it in the interior. When I was done rebuilding the suspension, I realized I didn't need the car anymore. My nephew had gotten a driver's license a month ago, so I decided I would give him the car. He was going to school with a lot of bratty kids and entitled parents. Oh God, they're spreading into the other subreddits. Every person who had a driver's license was driving a BMW or a Mercedes or an Audi, all brand new cars. At first, he was laughed at for owning an old car, and everybody was saying that he was poor and just driving an old piece of crap. That car was more reliable than a lot of their brand new cars. He wanted to give it back to me because he was embarrassed. I gave him a long talk and said how he was driving a piece of history and how he should be proud for driving such a car. This picked his soul up. I said how that car was gaining value and how the brand new cars were losing value. The next day he comes to me and is happy with the decision he made. He kept his car and didn't care about those brats. About a month later he comes to me and says that his car was vandalized. Apparently while he was in school, some brat came up to the car and trashed it. All the windows gone, paint scratched to hell, dents, dings, holes, everything was trashed. The interior was ripped apart and they literally took a dump in the car. I was pissed when I heard about that and asked if he knew who it was. He said that he did know who it was and even saw the person who was breaking the car. I asked for the name and searched it on Facebook. There he was with his brand new BMW and his address right there. I started planning and fixing the car. I made sure to make everything the same, and one day I had a plan. I was going to go to the guy's house and strip his car from most of the parts to cover the repair cost. One night I went to his house, me, 4 trucks, and 15 other people. We got there and immediately started working. We took the thing apart so much that it was basically an empty shell. Engine and transmission taken, interior glass taken, suspension taken, stripped this whole thing to bare metal. The next day this guy posted a picture of his car and how he had to find the person who did this and how the person who did this was gonna pay. A week later I give the car back to my nephew and he goes to school in it with me following in my 1969 Charger. We roll into the parking lot and we see the guy who destroyed the car. His jaw dropped to the floor when he saw the car that looked like nothing had ever happened to it. After school ended, I came to the parking lot and met my nephew who was waiting there. Before we roll out, I drive next to the guy and say, I think he lost this. I throw the hood ornament at him and we drive off. The guy was shocked and just stood there. I'm happy to say that my nephew still drives the car and is happy. Also, all the bullying stopped and he was finally able to find a girlfriend. Wish I could say the same. Anyway, that's a good uncle right there, taking care of his nephew. That's what the guy gets. You mess with someone else's stuff, you're gonna get it right back at you. And now he has a more expensive car that's now worth nothing because of his stupid actions. I used to work as a valet at a hotel near the downtown strip of a large tourist city. It is a tip position and as such I was only making $5 an hour. The only reason it was that high was because I was a shift supervisor. Before the promotion, it was the standard $2.13 an hour. One week, there was 2 rather trashy ladies who stayed at the property. They were there for about 5 days in total, I believe. They had us valet their dump of an SUV. Self-parking was a thing there and cheaper than having us park it. They would use the valet staff, who also doubled as the bellman, for almost everything, repeatedly insulting us all the time. They shop for groceries at the Piggly Wiggly and have us take their groceries to their room. It was an extended stay property with a kitchenette and cabinets. Put them away and then not tip. The whole time we'd hear how horrible the place was. It wasn't. How terrible we were at our jobs. Again, not true. And about how we're probably all just loser musicians unable to make it. Partially true, but still insulting nonetheless. They'd utilize our free shuttle service to the downtown bar strip and complain the whole time about how we aren't a 24-hour service, about how long it would take to get a cab back to the hotel. They'll literally line up by the bars all night and it was maybe $10 a ride. After 5 nights of this crap, the whole valet staff was rather fed up. We don't expect monumental tips from guests, just $2 to $3 here and there for the parking their vehicles, handling their luggage, and taking them to go binge drinking. Not once did these ladies tip. We've had some guests who wouldn't tip their entire stay, but then gave us one large one at the end of their stay to cover it up. Not these people. I brought their vehicle up on the morning they were to check out, loaded their luggage for them, and handed over their keys. They then decided to eat breakfast and scoff at me as they walked inside. 20 minutes later, they had still not come out to leave. We had limited space on the drive and a lot of guests checking out. Cue the pettiness. Wait, this is pro-revenge, but whatever. The next 4 vehicles I brought up, I made sure to box theirs in, to keep it from leaving and hand off the keys as quickly as possible before telling the guests to go enjoy their breakfast. We'd usually keep the keys just in case we needed the extra space right up until the guests left. Sure enough, while still boxed in, my very trashy guests came out to leave, proceeded to yell at me for boxing their vehicle in. All I would say is, I'm sorry ma'am, these guests already have their keys and we've been a little short on space this morning. A lot of guests checking out today, I'm so sorry. Well, that's what you get. I mean, I know people don't always expect tips, but it's etiquette. You know, it's one of those things that you don't say, but it's still a thing, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. This wasn't pro-revenge, but it does sound more like petty, but whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this mix. I did a little bit of both because a lot of you guys requested it, and it seems like you will enjoy it. At least I hope you do. If you are new, drop a sub, a like, all that cool stuff. Link for all the socials, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter are in the description. We are going to be doing a giveaway once we hit 1,000 members on Discord. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next upload. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.